Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Bama Standard post-game show immediately following the abysmal win over UCF. Yes, folks, if you missed the game, that is not a typo. That was not done in the 1950s, and that was not a jamboree 1 quarter of play. That was the real thing. Before we get started, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. Chat, I don't even have to say it. Get rowdy tonight. If you're watching a replay, let us know what you think. I'm Justin Riley. With me tonight are the stars of the final whistle, the illustrious, never duplicated, undefeated, undisputed big brother of Dan,
That's right.
Chris James.
That's right.
And the man who really brings all the eyes front and center to this show and this network, the final whistle Dan. Big Dan James. Fellas, what's going on?
Frustration, brother. Frustration.
Frustration. Well, this show is brought to you by Workspace Solutions. If your business needs a digital presence or a full-fledged marketing team, these are the guys to reach out to. All right, guys, I came up with an outline before this game, and I really intended to go through it because I thought the score would reflect what we're going to talk about. But apparently the players and coaching staff had another idea. I wanted to start out saying, how much evaluation can we truly get against a lesser opponent? But they weren't exactly a lesser opponent. Funny how we have a team full of 4 and 5 stars, but a team full of 2 and 3 stars were able to outplay us all day long. Chris, I'll let you lead off here. What kind of evaluation can we take away from this? And is this something that we really need to be afraid of going forward?
Well, 2 things we found out today for sure. Number 1, Buchner.
I think I know what you're going to say. But go ahead.
My words.
He's out of the race. And number 2, Roydell Williams. He may just be the spark that our running game needed to complement Jace McClellan. We may have a true 1-2 punch that we can lean on because we're built to run the ball. We're not built to pass it and throw it around 40, 50 times. That's not what our strengths are. So we're built for 1-2 punch at the running back position and the quarterback that can play action, maybe throw it around 20 times. That's it. I think when Ty had time, he made some nice throws, but that's when he had time. And next week is going to be a much more daunting task against Ole Miss front than what we saw tonight. So we better find some answers. Now, I noticed that it settled down.
Man, your internet connection is slower than our offense.
It got a lot better. I don't know what we're gonna find out more in these next few days.
Well, Dan, we're starting out.
Next few days.
Dan, we're starting out, given the evaluation here. I mean, what kind of positives, if any, can you take away from this? I'm looking all over the place where we place blame. First and foremost, we talked heavily on the past several shows that the mindset of players. Where is their heart? What is their minds on? And when Bo Scarborough, Reuben Foster, Reggie Ragland, Marquise Mays, and a bunch of others were calling them out as far as their focus and their true desire to play for Alabama and understanding the process, they start crying. Yeah. They start talking about the big bad bullies are picking on us, Coach Saban. We're the victims. Well, it turns out their admonition was right. Dan, what are your thoughts right off the bat?
What frustrates me, the most animated player on the sideline was the guy that got benched. With Milroe, it seems. But I think the defense played inspired, but that was helped by their offense coordinator, believe it or not, called the worst game that Tommy Rees did. He saved us. Those 4th downs, going for it on 4th down. You think about it. If they punted the ball a few times, I hate to say it, may have been different. We may have had to make another quarterback change. But the simple fact that, they had no respect for us as who we are. We're just a shade of what we used to be. So teams don't mind going for what else. We can do it against Bama. That's what teams are gonna do now. They're gonna go for a 4th down. So but I think the defense played pretty good. Was once again, we've been able to get off the field on 3rd downs. So good. I like to see more quarterback pressure, but but the offensive line, man, and Buchner definitely not it. So we need to see where we're gonna go between Simpson and Milroe. At least Milroe was giving us explosive plays. So maybe it was the rain. I don't know, but we'll find out. But hey, we're getting ready to go into week 4. You know what I'm saying? We still got more questions than answers.
Here's the question of the day: why didn't we see Milroe when things were getting about as pathetic as it possibly could? We had no hint of a spark. Why did he not get thrown back into the action, Chris?
Well, I was told, I'm not sure. We'll find out in the next few minutes. I was told by someone that Milroe was in concussion protocol. And you think about it, it kind of makes sense. But I was told that, so I'm not sure if that was the case. We will find out during the press conference if that was truly the case, because if that was the case, it makes the most sense. Because you don't ride a guy for a whole half like they did Buchner. That was man.
That was terrible.
That took me back. To
Brandon Avalos.
No, Avalos would have never done that. Avalos would have definitely done something.
Yeah,
completed a pass. He would have done something. That was
terrible.
Dude, that was hard to watch, man. That was like watching a middle school football game.
But let me tell you, man, that right there, it made me lose a little faith in Rees. You know what I'm saying? That you got your guy now. So what's the excuse now? So this is a guy you brought into this. I don't know, man, but definitely one thing we know for sure is Tyler Buchner is definitely not it.
So not only Tommy Rees is safe here, what about Eric Wolford? He's a guy that quick shout out before I get to my point. Jay Guy, $9.99 super chat. Time for Saban to show some tough love. These guys are soft. We won't make it out of SEC play with this kind of play. The standard needs to be emphasized in practice this week. Let me go back to what I was saying. Eric Wolford, a guy that had a whole lot of camaraderie coming in. Joe Moore Award finalist. He was doing these things at Kentucky. And we had a glimmer of hope last year. The Lions seemingly got better, but now they're utter trash. And I don't want to be so negative, but that facts are facts. Players take on the personality of their coach.
Here you go.
Is this the kind of personality that we are getting from Eric Wolford?
Well, first off, let me say this. You have to put your offensive line, just like you have to put your quarterbacks and receivers and running backs in position to be successful, you have to put your offensive linemen in position to be successful too. And what I mean by that is we are a run-based built. Our old line is built for the power run game. And to leave Kate Proctor time after time after time on an island with speed rushers, that falls on the shoulders of the offensive coordinator for not having a tight end or a back or somebody to stay in and chip that guy. You're not putting him in a position. His strength right now is mashing guys off the ball in the run game. We haven't really had problems running the ball all year. It's been dropping back passing and giving the quarterback time. And it's not like the pressure it's coming from the edge. When the quarterback's sitting there, it's a guy coming off the edge that came all the way around. And then the quarterbacks have to have awareness too.
Slow developing routes.
You can't hold the ball all day. You got to step up in the pocket. I noticed Buchner today. He wasn't getting any depth on his drops. He was right there at the line of scrimmage. Even when he caught it and took his 2 to 3 steps, he was right there in the line of scrimmage. Simpson his clock was off. He didn't have a clock in his head. At least with Milroe, at least he kind of processes as quick as far as his mental clock. But man, they didn't put our O-line in position, man, to be successful, man, by the play calls. That falls on Rees, but not on his personnel.
I agree, Blake.
Yeah, Blake Morton, $4.99 offensive line, just tall, fat mouth runners. Body, yeah. Only people that are making quit is
Blake.
Fans watching them struggle.
Thank you.
Thank goodness for Roydell Williams. Shoot, it looks like the only thing they're really good at right now is taking down a buffet, but they might even struggle with that. But it's so ridiculous to think that they had 37 portal players that came to USF, but are they 37 guys that are that much better than the guys across from them on our team? The answer is resounding no. And at some point, pride's got to come in. Yes, the defense did play great today, but what if we played a good quarterback? Let's be real. Brown is not a great quarterback. Yes, he beat us with his legs. He's a great athlete, but he's not a Jackson Dart. He's not a Jaden Daniels. He's not a Joe Milton. So, guys, how comfortable are you with this defense carrying the weight of the team until we actually find an identity?
Yeah, they're going to have to. You know, they're going to have to. We got to get better about letting South Florida dictate to us what we're doing on offense. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. We got to be more aggressive, and we got to put the quarterbacks in a better position. That's all on Tommy Rees. You know, we definitely got to put the running backs in better position. Let's utilize our tight ends. You know, where was D Black this week?
Once Nye Black got that false start penalty, you didn't see him no more after that drive right there. You didn't see him no more. I mean, it's like that's when you start seeing more of Oots and Dupree out there together.
DJ Dupree.
Yeah, and one more thing y'all didn't notice, man. I bet y'all didn't notice Jalen Hill out there.
I noticed him
late in the game when it was him and Burton.
Right. Let's acknowledge this right here, Kyle. That says it. You know, we have
Antonio Russell, $5. Tommy Rees isn't it either. His O has no motion, no screens, no wheel routes, no end arounds, no rollouts, no slants. Just putting athletes in a pocket. That's a great. Thank
you, Antonio.
Great, Antonio. Yeah, there's no screens. There's still no players getting out to the perimeter. I don't understand why we bring this guy in as opposed to some of the other candidates in terms of an offensive coordinator, because he looks like he got pulled off of Craigslist and he's learning on the job.
No, that's what happened when you order your offensive coordinator off of Wish. Dude, let me tell you, man, every time I watch Washington play, I want to cry.
Yeah.
Well, good reason. If y'all didn't catch Michael Penix today, dude had almost 500 yards passing.
And Penix might win the Heisman, dude. If Caleb Williams slips up, Penix is going to win the Heisman. I think that game between them is going to determine who wins the Heisman.
It's a Pac-12 type of year.
Did we ever think we'd come to that realization? Here's something I wanted to bring up, and you guys, you saw it during the game. Well, it was shortly before halftime. Sideline reporter, don't ask me to recall her name. I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago. But she said, and this is one of the most illuminating things of the entire team, that despite what was going on out in the field, no one was getting on each other's faces. No one was challenging each other, cussing them out. The sideline was virtually silent. Explain to me why.
Because we don't have any dudes, man. Our dudes are not being dudes. We don't have any dudes.
You got to go higher. We don't have any dudes on the staff. Let's just be real,
man. Well, like we really miss. Like we saw Bala and Hutzler try to show some fire today, show some energy.
Well, good for them. But you know what? It's about self-policing. It's about taking pride, dude.
It really wasn't even the defense, though. The defense did their job.
Well, it's not just the team as a whole.
But it was South Florida, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but at the same time, it's like it's just not in those guys. Some guys personality, not in that DNA, man. Like Milroe isn't that type of guy. Like he tries to lead. You see whenever he gets out there, he tries to, but he's not the type that's gonna get in your face. We don't have that on this roster.
But you mean to tell me out of how many people on that roster, not one is a dog? Listen, Jalen Hurts wasn't a guy that got in your face, but he still was able to lead a team.
Yeah.
I thought that Latham would be somebody to light a fire. J.C. Latham or even one of the receivers, one of those fire receivers is just I don't know, man. It's like when you don't have a field general leading you, I mean that's what happens, man.
Hey, Chris, quick shout out this super chat real quick, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you, Jay Guy. Yeah, can we get back to the RPO offense and get Benson and Bun out in space and utilize the pistol formation?
Can you imagine that?
Ain't that what we were saying? I was saying in the group chat. You know, we didn't utilize the pistol formation until what 5 minutes ago in the game. You know, we did try to utilize Bun early in the game, but we didn't go back to it.
Hey, real quick, guys, we got to acknowledge this. Matthew Pate, our receivers are silent. I still can't pin everything on these wide receivers. I still feel like they are cooking DBs and they're doing their job.
They're catching what's thrown near them. You know what I'm saying? They're getting separation. You can't put it on the receiver.
Like for example, but like everything Buchner threw early in the game was behind the receiver. Mm-hmm. Like the timing was off.
That was terrible.
It was in the dirt.
The same thing we got on Milroe about Buchner did it, but he did it worse because at least Milroe can pull it down and go for 85 at any given moment. Or he'll come back with a 50-yard dime. Buchner didn't give us nothing. Like absolutely nothing.
I think Simpson warranted, being able to be given another chance, but I think he's gonna start and end with Milroe. We're gonna ride this season. We'll have any hope for this season. They're gonna start and end with Milroe. We just got to fix the turnovers with him.
It's gonna be It's gonna be Simpson and Milroe next week if we play two.
Yeah, Buchner.
Buchner's out. But they're trying their best to redshirt Lonergan. They really don't want to have to use him. They're trying their best to redshirt him. But it may come to.
But how long do we wait to break that glass, though, Chris? If things continue to trend downward and we can't do anything in terms of a quarterback, at what point do we break the glass and let Lonergan come out there and burn the
we need to do
shirt? Well, now that
I will play him now because Julian saying is coming.
Hey, well, now that Buchner will be delegated to the scout team, we can get those results for Lonergan that Buchner was taking. I mean,
here's something that was surprising to me, guys. Buchner has played in big games. He played against South Carolina in that bowl game. He played against Ohio State. Seemed to do all right, but against little USF, no slight to them, but little USF, he could never calm down. He was apprehensive the entire time he was in there. How? Hey, we got real quick. We got us a nice super chat from Ask Bama Girl.
Hey, Bama Girl.
$20. Why wasn't Justice Haynes?
Thank you.
Another great observation.
Right. Jam Miller didn't play. Jam Miller didn't.
He did. He didn't play until late, but it was late.
No, he didn't get essentially. No, it was a play fake. Yeah,
you can essentially say he didn't play.
He didn't get a touch. Yeah.
But hats off to Roy Dale. He's the workhorse. He's the prototypical Bama back. Reminded me of Mark Ingram tonight, a guy that just was patient. And as the game wore on, he got stronger and he wanted the ball. Even after he broke the long run, he's like, screw being tired. Give me the damn ball.
Hey, Bama Girl. But you also have to remember, Trent Richardson first year, he really didn't factor into the lineup until when? Like third game, fourth game, his freshman year? Because I think, was that Virginia Tech that year? Derrick Henry didn't play until the bowl game his freshman year when he really factored into the,
Najee Harris.
Yeah, Najee, the championship. So it's going to take time. I just think that at some point this year, we're going to rely on Justice Haynes, whether it be an injury or we need another spark. But his time will come this year, and he'll be ready for it when it comes.
Shout out to Antonio Russell again, $2. Bama is quick route to NFL, not somewhere players love.
Yeah, these guys are playing out to get hurt now. They're playing,
Yeah, quick quick route to the NFL, playing not to get hurt.
That's essentially what it is, guys. This is a business transaction now. So
you gotta love each other, man. You don't love your teammates. Like think about all the good teams, man. LSU 2019, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, man. The chemistry was like undeniable, man. The Atlanta Braves right now, the chemistry is undeniable. The 2020 Bama team, the chemistry was undeniable. Like you look at those championship teams, man. Florida State with Jameis, they love Jameis. They were running the wall for Jameis. Yeah. Like, the chemistry is undeniable.
This team has chemistry.
Teams have in common.
Listen, this team has chemistry. It's the wrong type of chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they all seem to have the same personality, and that's not what we need. You know,
BT in the Days has a question, guys. Do y'all think the coaches should coach from the field?
Yes.
Get him out that box, man. Get him down from that box. Yes. Bring him from up top.
Crimson Kings, $4.99. The O-line is pathetic right now without Milroe last week. Texas wins by 3 touchdowns. He compensates for the O-line's lack of pass blocking. I'm disgusted. And right after that, we got Perry with $5. I'm tired of all the talk from this team. Shut up and play hard.
Right. Simple. That's it. Just take that advice the rest of the year. We might be okay.
Yeah. At this point, I want to hear the basic answers, or you can be like, oh boy, and say, I'm here so I don't get fined.
Let me
but
tell
no
you
more sound bites, nothing.
Right. You know, right now what we're getting is a bunch of excuses. You know, the opposite, I tell my people all the time, the opposite of excuses is results. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's not giving you a result, they're gonna give you excuses why. You know, so that's very frustrating. Very. But
sorry, Dan. Have we seen enough from the starters' lack of production to warrant making a big change and bring some young guys in? Chris, is it time to see the young guys?
I wouldn't quite hit the panic button just yet, but it's time to start getting them some reps. I mean, like don't throw them in start, but I can see them 3rd series, 4th series, you know, throw them in there, see how they respond for a few plays. I wouldn't just say make that wholesale change because you know that's a lot of pressure, man. But at the same, because man, I'm telling you, man, that speed of that game from high school to the SEC is, man, that was the biggest transition for me. It's like it's crazy. It's crazier from like middle school to high school to college, or middle school to JP. You know, the speed is like another 3.
Well, apparently from the AAC as well, not just the SEC. We played the AAC.
I mean, that's just D1 ball, Division I ball, period, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just Division I ball, period. The speed just translates, man. But the thing about it, you got to understand, man, it's more pageantry now. Like schools aren't stocking all the talent now. These kids are being spread out. Like kids like that are at Cincinnati 5 years ago, they may have been at Ohio State or Michigan, you know? So it's like it's just being more talent's being spread out, more talent's being developed.
Yeah, you look at Naquan Wright and Lloyd Summerall, you know, those guys we recruited for a bit, you know. But I'm gonna say this,
Antonio Russell.
Right. I'm gonna say this.
Antonio Russell, $2. Sorry.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, get the OCDC out of the booth on the field to see this trash. No, not just to see it, address it. You know, did they even show our offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator? I don't know.
I didn't see Kevin Steele once. I saw like a brief little glimpse of Tommy Rees, but nothing more than that.
Yeah,
great point, Matthew. They did have a overhaul coming from the Jeff Scott era. So I mean, it was a big overhaul. Probably like one of the top 5 biggest overhauls in college. Colorado had 60 something, I think, but South Florida had 30 something guys transfer in. So you can flip a roster in a year.
Yeah, and I think, man, I'm gonna say this, man. If Quinn Ewers may have been playing quarterback for South Florida, this game could have gone another way. It's scary.
And even in a loss last week, I still feel like we played well enough, aside from the things we did to shoot ourselves in the foot to beat Texas. Whereas this week, it's like the guys were done. They turned their cleats in and they just walked through it to get it done and head back home. I get maybe playing down to the level of your opponents, but to just be an atrocity like what we saw tonight, there's no excuse for it.
Yeah. I hats off to the defense, though.
Hats off to defense. Don Parker, anyone else noticed that the D-line got pressured today and Otis didn't suit up? Also, this O-line is horrible. At least Ferguson got an opportunity.
Right. Yeah. And I'm going to say, man, we've been hard on Dalcourt. He didn't play too bad of a game today. It's just everything else, you know.
Everybody else was so bad.
It was Booker. Booker was the one that got benched.
And that was a surprise, guys. I thought if anybody would be benched, it'd be Darian Dalcourt.
Or Seth McLaughlin.
Yeah.
But I honestly felt until today, I thought a lot of Seth McLaughlin's woes was because of how Darian Dalcourt was performing, and then Caden Proctor, having to account for what both guys were doing to ruin any kind of hint of pass blocking and feeling like he had to make up for what they were lacking in. Whereas today you had new players in there, same song, different lineup.
Mm-hmm. I say give Preacher a chance, man, and slide Proctor down the guard. Put him right next to.
I wouldn't be against that.
Grow up.
Got to clean up penalties. Yeah, Jarvis. Well, the thing is, the penalties, we had only 5 penalties today.
Yeah, but 3 of them costly, right?
Costly penalties, though.
Yeah, they were very costly. They took points off the board.
The special teams stopped today.
Yeah. Outside our usual, Burnham and Rackett.
Don Parker, any word why Booker got benched? From what I'm being told, he was injured. So
I think that's what it was.
Don't feel like that he lost a spot because he's arguably one of the better guys on the line. So didn't think that he really showed anything the past 2 games that would warrant him being set down on the sideline. So,
but we got pushed in the running game, guys. Like this falls squarely on the shoulder of Rees, man, for not putting his guys in positions, like not knowing his personnel. We should know his personnel better than he does. Like no deep crosses across the middle. Everything he wanted to throw.
They had time for deep crosses. Let's get some quick rug routes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like crosses, like rug routes or deep. But what I'm saying is, the crazy thing is, it's like he didn't know his personnel. And then if you're gonna do that, man, at least have a back to chip off and help Proctor, because that was the only one. Because if it wasn't for Proctor, he would have had time to make some of those throws downfield. But it was the guy beating Proctor around the edge with speed.
Absolutely, Ty couldn't get set up.
Yeah, right. Because Ty was about to let a few of them rip, but he could never get them off. And he got 4 times in less than a quarter.
J Guy 499. Real question is, when is Pruitt walking into the building? He will hold guys accountable and enforce the standard.
Right. I agree.
Well, that's a good question. If the NCAA wouldn't have gotten involved and given him that show clause penalty, I feel like he would be there right now.
Think about it.
We gotta have some good guys in there.
Hey, but the thing about it, Pruitt only can. I mean, he really ain't too much he can say to the offensive guys. He's not offensive coach. The spark that we need needs to come from the offense, because the defense.
We need a play caller.
Like the one thing that I disagreed with today was how he blitzed that quarterback. He kept sending pressure up the middle instead of off the edges and forcing him back into the pocket. What do you do when you send somebody up the middle? You flush the guy out of the pocket. The guy kept hitting the edge. Like the D ends weren't containing. So I would have brought pressure off the edge.
Well, there it is from the horse's mouth, guys. Jalen Milroe is in the building. Should have put me in. Hey, not only that, we got a ghost of coaching past. Bill O'Brien is here. Can we please help poor Proctor out? I bet every edge rusher in America is dreaming about going one-on-one with Proctor.
Especially Ole Miss.
He learned it. I'm glad he take. I'm not worried about Ole Miss, man. I'm not worried about Pete Gold. He only going to send 2.
But hey, the way things are going with us right now, that could be an issue too.
I'm worried about offensive. Like I'm more so worried about offensive teams with a defense that can back it up. Like the next team we play that has an offense with a defense that can back it up, probably isn't until LSU, maybe.
A&M.
Oh crap! A&M can't even go down to Miami and win in Coral Gables.
But listen, man, they have been giving us hell the past 2 seasons, even amidst all their turmoil and dumpster fire scenarios that they constantly have on social media. We somehow find a way to struggle against them. So with our struggles right now going into College Station, I don't like the recipe there.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about Tennessee. You see what Florida's doing in Tennessee right now?
And Jalen Milroe has the answer here too. I just need to do more read options and win the SEC championship.
I wouldn't be against something.
Well, guys, I do have to ask, one of the questions coming in was, do we find an identity today? Despite all the horrible play and things going wrong, did we find an identity even in the least bit? We definitely have a running game. We felt like if we push the ball down the field using Rodell Williams and being physical in that way, that might be our go-to. How confident are you that we're starting to establish something?
Yeah, we established identity today, the pound and ground, that what we already thought what we were going to be doing going into this year. It's just the fact that we got to be able to the protect long enough to complete some of those flashing passes to back those safeties and linebackers up.
Yeah, I mean, we it's not like we got behind the chain too much, so no, that's a starting point. But we got to do a better job of getting the ball to our playmaker.
All right, so now the question to ask is Alabama ready for SEC play?
Nope.
We had hoped in this game that we'd work kinks out and we'd score a lot of points and free some people, free the receivers, finally get them rolling, get Jermaine Burton 200 yards, get those running backs, all of them showing up, showing out. But now, not so much. So what can we do between now and next Saturday that gives us a hint of a chance against Ole Miss?
Well, I mean, we got to continue to show up. First off, we got to come up with a heck of a game plan, but we got to continue to show up the old line up front, man. And we need more. I think we need more, like in practice, to get more physical. Like Tuesday really needs to be a really physical day of practice, man. Like in the trenches, like more half line drills, old line. I mean, good on good. I'm not talking about going against the scout team. I'm talking about first O, first D, in the trenches, more inside drill. Let's get it. Let's run the ball. Let's protect. More one-on. We need to. Our focus need to be on both lines this week, and timing with the receivers and quarterback. Like that's what I focus, because like I said, our running game is fine. We just need to focus on just blocking, picking up blitz pickup, being able to have our 5 or 6 pick up their 5 or 6, whatever they're sending. Because ain't no way in heck that a 4-man pressure should be able to get to our quarterback with just 4. No way. Should no team be able to pressure us with just 4? That's disheartening.
Right.
Ephraim Davis, $5. Ole Miss won't know who the quarterback is. Smart move on Coach Saban's part.
I'm thinking it's Milroe. I'm thinking going back to Milroe.
And they like, hell, I don't know.
Blake Morton, $1.99. Our O-line is garbage, but hey, Tennessee is losing to Florida. Silver lining, most definitely. But listen, I don't feel any good about the fact that Lane Kiffin doesn't know who our quarterback is. Hell, we don't. Well, never mind. We do know. It's Jalen just gave us breaking news. It's him.
Also, Texas is down early to Wyoming, but it's early.
It's very early. Just like everybody got. Everybody got super excited that Georgia was down 14-0 to South Carolina, and of course that played out as we expected with a 24-14 win. All right, guys, before we head on out, we got to find a silver lining, right? So who are some players today that stuck out to you, you came away feeling really good about? Dan, I'll start with you, and then Chris, I'll go to you, and I'll finish it up.
Offensively, of course, obvious is Roydell. And shout out to Terrence Ferguson stepping in and getting the job done. Defensive side of the ball, hey man, I like what I seen from our DBs. Malachi Moore played an exceptional game. Terrion Arnold is Terrion Arnold. You know, Kool-Aid is Kool-Aid. You know, the defense, hats off to them. I thought they all played pretty well.
Chris James. You're on mute, sir.
You're muted.
I'm sorry. Offensively, I think that that Terrence Ferguson came and did a good job, but it had to go to Roydell. Game ball goes to Roydell. And the tight ends, whenever they had the chance, they made plays. Dupre and Oops, they made plays defensively. I think Deontay Lawson played well. The whole front played well. And Malachi Moore, the game ball defensively goes to Malachi Moore. I just think the defense played great as a whole. I mean, game ball can go to the whole defense. But Malachi Moore really looked like the old Malachi.
Look at this comment by Frank Nisi, bench Rees. I like that. Yeah,
Chris, if you would, man, get Dave Rader on speed dial. Let's see if we can, get him in here next week.
We're gonna get Les Kenny.
Yeah, but for me, it's very easy to make my picks, and it resembles you, Chris, and you, Dan. Roydell. You can't deny how pivotal he was in this team to this team's success tonight, even though it wasn't the kind of success we wanted. But he carried us late when it counted. And then Malachi Moore, he's probably been the most consistent player in the entire defense and probably the whole team this year. And he is returning back to that form.
That's why you play young guys early.
But that is going to do it for us. Alabama comes away with a 17-3 victory, and Tampa, hopefully next week, we'll have a better outcome, and we'll figure things out.
You sure it was 17-3?
Before we go, Chris, go ahead.
You sure it wasn't 17-3 halftime?
That was halftime number 2 since we had 2 breaks today.
I want to cry, man. That was Jesus.
But yes, check us out on Tuesday night. Both shows are going to be rocking. The Bama Standard will be going live at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Guest is going to be OJ Howard. And then the final whistle will be doing our thing at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. So we got a lot of reactions, and we'll have a lot of time to kind of break things down and take some emotion out of it. So get ready for what we're going to be bringing to you next week. But for me, final whistle Dan, Chris James, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, y'all.